Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 7th grade concept of simple and compound probabilities. This is standard 7.6i in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 19 off the 2022 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and then we will look at our answers together. So we have a spinner here, 6 equal sections. That's going to be important because we're going to need fractions here. Fractions only work if each section is equal, and it also looks visually equal as well. What is the probability of spinning a number greater than 4? Seems pretty simple. This is definitely a simple probability. When we're looking at a compound probability, that means there's more than one option. So that might be spinning a number greater than 4 and then spinning a 3. And you have to do both of those things in order to meet the requirements. That's compound. Simple, you're just doing one thing, spinning a number greater than 4. Well, let's put fractions on each of these here. All right, so I've got each of these are going to be 1/6. So here's my unit fraction since there's 6 equal parts. And if I need to spin a number greater than 4, well, which numbers are greater than 4? I've got my 5. I've got my 6. So that's it. So a 1/6 plus 1/6, it's going to equal 2/6. I do not see that as an option, but we are in the 7th grade. If we see a number like that, any fraction, our first thought needs to be, can it be simplified or can it be reduced? The answer is yes. They're both even. When they're both even, you're going to divide the numerator and denominator by 2, and there we go. 2/6 is equal to 1/3, and you can kind of see that if you want, you can kind of view this as thirds, right? There's 1/3, there's 2/3, and there's 3/3. So each of these thirds takes up 2 of these sixths, and so that's going to take up 1 of those thirds. And so that's looking like D. Let's see what some of these other answers are and where they're coming from, just to make sure they're incorrect. Well, 1/6 I know is wrong. 1/6 is just, it's just one slice, right? So that's just assuming there is just one number greater than 4. That's the basic, or we can just call that the unit fraction. And even though we did label all of this with all of these slices here with 1/6, it's more than just one of them, it's 2 of them, because the expectation here is greater than 4, and the 2 numbers that are greater than 4 are going to be 5 and going to be 6. That's it. Those are the 2 we're looking at. So we need 2 rather than just 1. Where does the 2/3 come from? Well, if you take a look at what I shaded in here, you notice I shaded in 1/3. What is unshaded are my 2/3. And this actually has a name. This is called a complement. And it's spelled complement with that E right there rather than an I. If you put an I in there, that means you're saying something nice about someone, that type of complement. This complement, when we're talking about probability, means the likelihood of it not happening. So likelihood of not. It's the opposite, happening. So that's what that complement is. If my likelihood of it happening is 1/3, then my likelihood of it not happening is going to be 2/3, because 1/3, the probability plus the complement always need to equal 1 whole. 1/3 plus 2/3 equals 1 whole. And where does that 1/2 come from? Well, this is number greater than 4. But what if I included 4? What if I said 4 or greater? If I thought it was greater than or equal to 4 rather than greater than 4, well, I will include 4, and then I would get 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. That would give me 3/6. And if we divide that by 3's, guess what you're going to get? So I see how we get that 1/2. That's just if I include the 4, which I shouldn't. So my answer here is D.